Like my legs were like flexing and stretching at the same time, and then snap right on the inside of my knee in unbelievable burning, stabbing pain, like as if somebody heated a knife up and stuck it in there. And it did not go away fast. It just burned and burned and burned. Again, like the whole point of me doing this is not for me. I mean, it's for you so that you have something else to compare to when you go through like a surgery. And so, you know, here I was making tremendous progress, and then now I feel like I've fallen way back. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today is day 24. I had planned on posting on day 21, but some things happened and I didn't get around to doing it. And I'll tell you about that in a second. So I want to cover what happened from day 14 to now to day 24, right? So basically week 3. And generally speaking, it started off kind of amazing. Like after I went to the doctor on day 12, they took out the stitches, and then they said you can start taking like ibuprofen. That substantially changed my quality of life. And I started making a lot of progress. I think a lot of the swelling was getting out. And then like in PT, whereas before I could only do half turns on the bike, I was able to do full turns at a pretty fast rate. I was able to get a lot of good quad activation, good extension. I got my leg within 1 degree from being completely straight, and then at 126 degrees bent. So the mobility was coming really, really great, and everything was looking like up. I was able to get in the car, drive my kids to school, pick them up from school, sort of the stuff that I hadn't been able to do to help out my wife, who had to take over my jobs. And so she was backed up with work, and so she had to do some work. And so yeah, things were looking pretty awesome. And today's Saturday, but on Wednesday, I got my first real day of sleep. So that was like day 20 or 21. And I hadn't really slept more than 2 hours up to that point. I would wake up and be in pain and put the ice on, you know, the water circulator and all that kind of stuff. And so that night I slept really, really well. I slept like 4 hours, and then I woke up, put that thing on. About 40 minutes later, I actually went back to sleep and got a few more hours. It was great. I woke up, drove my kids to school, but here's what happened that morning when I woke up. You know how like when you wake up and you stretch, how like you're flexing and stretching at the same time? So your legs, so like my legs were like flexing and stretching at the same time, and then snap right on the inside of my knee at the like insertion point. So I'm wearing like an athletic sock that's supposed to help get the swelling out. But like right here at the insertion point where the hamstring comes in, let's see if I can show you, because I can show you all the scars are all healed and stuff. But like here, something snapped, and it was as loud as a twig. Pow! And it was followed by an unbelievable burning, stabbing pain, like as if somebody heated a knife up and stuck it in there. And it did not go away fast. It just burned and burned and burned. And I was like, what the heck was that? And I was definitely worried about it. So the rest of that day, I was sort of contemplating what should I do. So I called the doctor, and then they said, well, we can get you in tomorrow morning, like as like a kind of an emergency visit. So I took it. I had to like cancel my class and I'm a professor, so I had to like put my stuff online for the students, and feel kind of bad about it. But it was like, I need to figure out whether or not I tore my hamstring tendon, because that's what it felt like. And so he said that probably what happened is that right where this is where they make the insertion point to access your hamstring tendons, and then they use a tendon stripper and they go in. And he said, I bet that because he's like, I have to lift up like the connective tissue there and stuff, that you formed like a scar, and then when you stretched, it popped off. And so your tendons are still intact, but that pain and stuff that you experienced was the movement and disconnecting the scar tissue. So this isn't like something that's in your post-operative paperwork, dude. So I wanted you all to know that this is a possibility that this can happen, right? So that was a few days ago, and I felt pretty good. Yesterday, I actually went downstairs. I worked out my back. You know, I tried to do pull-ups, but I couldn't really I don't have a high pull-up bar in my basement because my basement's short. So it's a 6-foot pull-up bar. So you always have to like curl your legs behind you. Well, I can't do that. My hamstring doesn't work very well. So I can't hold my legs up behind me, right? Like bending. And so I just decided to do some incline dumbbell rows on the bench, and that was fine. Everything was fine. I was like, okay, like that was day 2 post the pain, right? Because I did it on Wednesday and yesterday was Friday. And so I was like, okay, it's sore, but I'm okay. Oh boy, but then last night, man, I was falling asleep and I was laying on my side and I had like my knee pulled up, like this. And because I'm moving more naturally now, it's like, it's not normally in so much pain. You don't feel the need to be so careful. So you move more naturally. And I guess my foot grabbed the bed to move my body to pull, right? Because your hamstring is basically like your bicep, but in your leg. It is the bicep of your leg. It's actually one of the names of the muscles in there. So I was pulling with my hamstring on the bed, and the same thing happened. Although it didn't make that loud snap, but it was worse this time. And I'm like, I'm not here to kid you around, okay, at all. What happened was all throughout here, where they took the hamstring graft, was fire. Absolute fire. And it lasted for a super long time because I think what happened is the muscle went into a spasm. So it cramped up and held there because where they've taken the tendon out is like a hole. And then so now that's filled with scar tissue. And when I think my muscle flexed really hard, it's so when your muscle's elongated, when you flex a muscle, it shortens. Okay, you think it looks bigger, that's just because it's getting shorter. So when it shortens like that, right, all that connective, all that space that was where the tendon was, in there, will, crunch and there's a lot of force on it. And then, as a result, my freaking leg cramped up, my hamstring cramped up, and it held the cramp for at least 10 minutes. It felt like an eternity in just unbelievable amount of pain. I tried putting ice on it right away, and that just pissed it off even more. So then I put a heating pad on it, which actually I think started to help relax it a little bit. And then it did. And then after the heating pad was on for quite some time, I was able to take that off and then try to do some ice and then, go back and forth or whatever. I haven't used the heat since. I just did it because the ice was doing the opposite. The ice was making it contract harder. And so, but because there's all that, space in there that was, damaged from when they took the tendon out, it's just flexing it was just unbearable. And, I'm not going to call the doctor now. I think it's fine. I think it just is what it is. On that first snap I did, wanted to call the doctor to make sure I didn't tear anything. But I don't know if this is typical. I just want to tell you what's happening with me so that if you experience any of these things, post-operative pain, you get the cramps, because I've had that since the injury. Since the injury, I will get cramps at a very high level this is before the surgery, up in the calf. And then I would get cramps down in here. And so you can even see there's even a little bit of bruising in there from when it snapped off whatever that connective tissue, that scar snapping was. So again, the whole point of me doing this is not for me. I mean, it's for you so that you have something else to compare to when you go through a surgery. And so, here I was making tremendous progress, and then now I feel like I've fallen way back. And it's now I'm thinking about okay, when I go to PT, if I push it really hard, I might create the same problems, but then I'm up against this weird thing. It's if it doesn't move, then it'll get bad. And if it does move, then I'm just going to aggravate the crap out of it. So, but range of motion's super good. Without even stretching or anything, if I just lift my leg up, I mean, you can see, so this is the scar where they fix the meniscus when they come in the side. But you can see here, see how much range of mobility that is? And that's just passive stretching. This isn't me pulling it down, right? And then when I'm on a table and I've got enough quad flexion that even in this direction, which is really hard to do even with my good leg, that when I'm on a table, I can get it pretty much flat. I'm 1 degree off. And so mobility is great. It's just that I have really pissed off this soft tissue in there. And I'm hoping that even if I have these little setbacks, that my progress will continue to move forward. And so if you're new and you've never seen this before, this channel is primarily about, me teaching wrestling to jiu-jitsu athletes and grappling. So, because I've been doing it for 33 years, I've had sustained tremendous amount of injuries in my life, but I've never had to go get an ACL surgery before. So then I figured, because I watched other people's videos that helped, I feel like this might help you. So if you're new here and you like the content, please like and subscribe. Feel the need to share the content if you want. And Until next time, thanks for watching. I'll continue to post updates on my progress or lack thereof, and I'll just tell you the truth, and we'll go from there. And hopefully you enjoy the journey more than myself going through the pain of it. Thanks for watching.